Oh, hi, Andy.
Okay, now we
Hey
got it.
guys,
Okay,
John Berry has started screen sharing. I'm looking at the same thing I was looking at before.
yeah,
Oh, well, we had to stop to be able to find the record button.
Uh,
okay. Okay, so anyway, my wife and I and her brother have been playing this space game for years, actually, on and off, more so recently. And I realized, well, actually, he is he is running a spreadsheet uh, on collecting some data that you get in the game. And I thought it would be an ideal for an Access database. So that's what I want to share with you tonight. And it doesn't really matter what's in this database, but it's the access used to make the database that I want to share with you. So don't get hung up on this is data from a game. Uh, it's the database itself that we're going to share. So it's over here, and let's see. Let me start with. Let me start with. I have an older version. I want to show you a comparison. Um, you remember last month we talked about attachments, and this copy has pictures attached to it. I have one where I did it a different way, um, which makes a huge difference in the size of the database because the pictures aren't in the database. So let me just close this. Let me just exit. I just want to show you. This one is 9.5 megabytes. I have a new one. It's 850 kilobytes because the pictures aren't in it. They're in this folder, and I'll show you we are showing the pictures. Uh, some of you may know how that's done, but I'll show the rest. So let's start with this. And let me, before I do anything else, let me start with the tables. This was there's only 4 tables. I have a table for the stars with the name of the star system, and I put in a date that's automatically put in, date default value, just to put it there. So I knew when we went to each star system. And then I have let's see, yeah, something one. I guess it's this one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then, star systems have planets and moons. And so this is the table that contains the planets and moons and a couple other things we keep track of. Uh, the person who first sets foot on the planet or moon uh, gets what's called a first footfall in the game, and their uh, their avatar's name gets added to the record for that. So any other person that comes along and gets to that planet sees that person's name there, which is kind of cool. In other words, you become part of the game's data. And there are biological features on some of these moons and planets, and a few geological features like geysers and fumaroles and things like that. There's only a few of those. And okay, and then we have, let's see, we have a table with what they call features. Let's see. And there's two types. One's biological and one is geological, and they all have names. And what you do is you get out of your ship, walk over to this biological or whatever, and you have a scanner. It's a genomic scanner. It collects the I guess I'll call it DNA remotely of the sample, and you collect that and you take it back to a station, and they pay you for it. You know, they're collecting data on what is where in the galaxy, and then I have an attachment of a picture. The fourth table is the junction table between the. Oh, I should have done this. Yeah, it's the junction table, the many-to-many table. No, that's the wrong one. It's this one. It is this one. Yeah, it's this one. Okay. Yeah. So the you know, you're having a foreign key for the body, the moon of the planet in the system, and the feature, the biological or geological feature. So it links them together in a many-to-many relationship. And it's first logged. This is interesting because when you take the data back to a station and you're the first one who has turned it in for that moon or planet, you get a bonus amount of credits, which builds up your net worth rather quickly. So anyway, that's the four tables. Let's close all. And here's how they are related. The star system, the bodies in the system, planets and moons, the features, including in this case an attachment of the picture, and the junction table with many-to-many's junctions. So let me show you what this thing looks like. Then we'll get into some detail. Okay. This form shows the star system name, of which you can choose whatever you want. I think there's 46 here so far. You can choose that, choose any one of them. And this subform shows the planet name or moon. This is planet A, the fifth moon. And here I made the first footfall. There's two biologicals here. There were no geologicals. On this moon, there was one biological and two geologicals. And we can click this button, and it shows you what's on this moon, same moon. And we found a bacteria and a fumarole and geysers. And then we have pictures of each. which I thought were pretty neat. And this also shows all the star systems where we found it so far. Found geysers. As far as the biological, I'm sorry. Yeah. This is the bacteria. Doesn't look like much, like a bunch of spaghetti piled up. And so far, we've only found it on one system. And its credit value is 1,950, 1,950,000 credits. And since I was the first one to turn it in, I got a bonus of 4 times this for a grand total of 9,700. The geologicals aren't well, obviously they have no genetic information, so they don't have any credits. So that's pretty much it. A very simple database.
So there's planets and moons
Planets and or moons, yes.
and no asteroids or stuff like that.
No, there are asteroid belts in some of the systems.
So you distinguish a planet and a moon by just having a space between them?
No, it's planet A is the first planet out from the sun, like that would be Mercury. B would be Venus, Earth is C, and then the moon, this would be the 5th moon out from the planet. This would be the 2nd. And when you get AB, I think that's when you have 2 stars in the system, and it's I'm not quite sure of this. It's orbiting both of them. Some of these systems have multiple stars.
But the point is that moons and planets are in the same pile, and you only distinguish that something is a moon by putting the number after the letter.
That's the way the people who wrote the game software decided to name things.
Oh, so the game give you these names.
That's correct.
You don't make them up when you find something.
No.
Ah, cool.
No, the name of the system comes from the game. Obviously, this was added by me. And if we land on there and no one else has stepped there, a little sign comes up and says first footfall. And also we click that box.
Are you competing with other people outside your game? Is this a networked game?
Yes. Oh yeah, it's a multiplayer game. As there could be.
Does the game keep track of things like this too, separately?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
And so the point of you doing how the game keeps track different from the way you're keeping track?
Well, I don't know what they're doing, but the whole thing is a huge database.
Clearly, they've got a huge database of the material that you can discover.
They've got that. They've got a huge database of all the star systems. They claim there's 400 billion systems in there. I can't imagine how many planets and moons there
They
are.
must have used artificial intelligence to figure it out.
I have no idea. This game started in 2014.
John B.
Yeah.
You were talking about the pictures, the dramatic difference in the size of the database from 9 meg down to under 1 meg. Where are I guess your pictures are in a separate folder there? How much space is that taking up?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me say that I have 2 versions of this. I'm going to show you. This version, remember last month we talked about attachments. And was after that that I realized I didn't have to do it this way. I could, and oh, let me go to a different system. Go to a different system. You know, I don't know which one has a lot more. Let's try this one. Let's try that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, here's, yeah, I think this is, I don't remember how that works, but this is the first planet, the second moon. This is the third moon. That's the fourth moon. I only went to this first moon. And the reason was that I found that these two have 7 biologicals, and this one has 6. And at the time I was there, no one else had stepped on that moon. These all 3 actually. So I was the first here, and I was the first to turn this in. So here, if we go here, let's see. Actually, yeah. These 2 I don't have any information on. I haven't been back to the station to find out how much they're worth, because you go out, you go turn it into Vista Genomics in the game, and they tell you what it's worth. But these 2 were new biologicals that I haven't been back to collect my credits.
Now, I'm just curious. Up top there, it says biological quantity 7. It looks like you're only showing 6 features.
Yeah, some of these things are hard to find.
Okay.
These planets they have flat, some of them are smooth and flat, and some of them are very mountainous. And you get into the mountains and you can't find any place to land the ship. And after a while, I just give up. So yes, you don't always collect it all. So
okay.
So
So there's a difference between the found and the quantity.
right.
The
Yeah,
quantity is the total. It's the total that's available, but because
Right.
they're available, it doesn't necessarily mean it was found.
That's correct.
yeah, down at the bottom, there's quantity found.
That's right. That's
No,
right.
I was just looking at the 6 records, and up top, on the
Yeah.
other form, I think it said 7 biological quantity.
Yes.
Let's move that window
Right.
over.
Yeah, right here.
That said 7. That said 7. Over on the next form, it said 7, and there were only 6 records.
That's
So wait a
correct.
minute. What? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it's impossible.
Yeah, John, you can always count on me for a dumb question.
Yeah.
But no, wouldn't it make
no,
sense?
That's good.
Wouldn't it make sense on that small form at the back to put the quantity found to give you an idea if you should fly back there?
Well, I don't need to do that since I can just click here and pop this form up. So
That's a lot of searching.
no, really.
Do you ever go
close that-
back to a planet?
If I do this, I get nothing. Right?
That's
Yeah.
on the.
Because I haven't been there.
That's on the third one, but how about on the second one, on C?
Yeah.
Right, there are 7 available. You haven't found any.
Right,
Like
because I
what
didn't
John,
stop.
like what
Okay.
John S is what John S was headed towards. Find it. There might be available, but on the B moon, you've already found 6. Okay, given what you were talking about the topography, maybe it's tough, or you already put in a lot of time trying to find it and then find it. Whereas in the second one, the C moon, like there are 7 available. I haven't found any. It
That's
might be
right.
helpful to see. It might be helpful to see that quantity found 0. Oh, wait a minute. Let me go try to do something there. I don't know.
Well, sure. Actually, what happened here, is, I'll tell you something. Most star systems have nothing. biology didn't get there yet. And only a few have geology. Which anyway, so what happened here is I was the first to get to, all three of us were playing together. We're flying around, and I hit into this particular star system, and I looked at you bring up the system data screen, and you can click on them, let's say a moon. In this case, they're all moons. Click on the moon in the game, and it'll show you whether there's any features, biological or geological. And a lot of times it says none, so forget it. In this case, in this system, these three moons had 7, 7, and 6. I guess the A moon had none, and I don't remember those others.
So in this particular star system, it's already telling you how many moons there are, but it doesn't
It
tell you
shows
about.
it shows you on the screen. It's a I don't know. Without having a picture of it, I can't show you.
What's the
probably
name of
could.
this game?
I'm sorry?
What's the name of this game?
Elite Dangerous. Anyway, I could probably find a picture. Let me try. Let me see. Okay. I have lots of pictures. By the way, here's me. I'm Jake Lone Star. Okay. Let's go back there. Let me see if I can find system. Well, I may be wandering around here for a while.
Oh, there is an elitedangerous.com website.
Yeah, it's Frontier Developments is the company that makes it. They're an English company.
Are you running this on Steam or on Linux or where?
I'm running it on Windows 10. I doubt it would run on Linux.
Well, it runs on Steam, apparently.
Yeah, you can buy it from Steam. I don't think you're really running it on Steam. Yeah, I don't see a system map here. So let's just I'll be careful here. I don't shut things down. Okay. Let's not worry about that. That has nothing to do with this database. I'm just trying to explain how the data makes sense. So, okay, let's go to this. Now, what happened here is the ones that have numbers next to them, by the way, the cheapest or lowest value item is 1,000,000 credits. So it's really easy to build up credits here. And you can use credits in game to buy things and new ships and upgrade your ship and all kinds of things. But if you're the first one to turn in this particular biological on this particular star system, planet, and moon, if you're the first one to turn it in, that's called first logged. If I click that, now you get 4 times this. And it's very valuable to log this stuff because essentially you're getting 5 times as much credit.
Is that bonus looked up somewhere in
No,
the
it's
game?
calculated. It's
Like you have to, did you have to enter the base credit value
yes,
manually from the game?
yes, yes.
So you had to enter a lot of data here.
Well, it isn't that much. I think I've got I don't know, maybe 110 biological, so it isn't that much. And once it's in there, it doesn't change. So this bacteria is always worth this much, that kind of thing. So you enter it once and it's there, and that's it. So anyway, so I wanted to show you. So we have pictures. Actually, you see there's thumbnails of the pictures here. And the reason I did that was because without them, I wouldn't know whether I had collected and taken a picture of this particular biological, because I take a screenshot in the game and it goes into the folder I showed you before with all those pictures. And then I use Fast Dome Image Viewer to crop it, resize it, adjust the colors. There's a lot of these places we go to are very dark. They're far away from their star, and they'd be like out at, I don't know, Neptune or Pluto or something. It's very dark there. So I upgraded the pictures. So here's one. And so anyway, so this is what this uh, biological looks like. We call it a bowling ball. And here's where else it's found. That was easy. This is a little subform that looks up where this is found. And there's another one. Some things, they have stuff called tussock. Well, this isn't tussock, but they have stuff called, yeah, this is tussock. Close it. It looks like grass. And there's different ones. So anyhow.
Hey, Mike, it looks like the dunes down at Sandy Hook, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. There's all kinds of really weird things in this. One of the things that's missing from this game is you can't land on worlds with water. It's just the way they did it. I don't know why, but they did that. And so all these places look very desert-like. And how could anything grow there? I don't know. But that's what the game is. And so we're not here to really talk about the game. So I just wanted to, so now let me just go back. Let's try another one. I don't know what's here. It's two. And when there's one, you can usually count on it being a biological, because that's usually the case. I like to think that's the first thing that evolved, a bacterium. And then there's this thing. You see, this was a really dark one. I couldn't make it brighter. We were too far out. And it's only found in this system, which is, and there's only one, it's the system you're in. That's the only place I've found it so far. But these two, we were the first to turn them in, or I was. So I got a $4 million credit. So the whole thing was worth 10 grand instead of 2, which was nice. 10 million rather. Okay. And if we come up with we find a feature that isn't in the list, the list here, that isn't in there, then I can click here and add a new name, the type, and I usually don't have a value. And then there's a place, the picture would show here if there was one. And yeah, you can see there's 100, we have 103 features right now. This is 104th, which we're not going to do. Okay. So, let's see. I think let's go to the yeah. Now let's go back here. There's something else I wanted to show you that I discovered. I always make pop-ups. I think you've seen that lots of times before. And there's a different way to do that other than making it a pop-up form. Now, let me see. Yeah, over here. It says pop-up, yes. And this one is not modal. So if I make that no, I go to form view, here's what I get, which is why I make pop-ups, because I think this looks terrible. You know, I'd have to try and move everything to the middle, which would look a lot better. But
I didn't see anything happen. What happened?
what happened?
Yeah.
Well, now there's no frame around it. You know, it's the whole screen.
Oh, the whole screen became a pop-up.
No, it's not a pop-up now. If I go back and make it a pop-up, now it looks like this. Okay, I can auto center it, but I'm not doing that here.
So it's basically the difference between a window and full screen.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
It's basically the difference between window and full screen.
Yes, yes. But this way the data fits in the pop-up. I think it looks nice. So that's
Go back to can you go to that other view again, please, John?
sure.
Yeah, because it's very small here, and I had to. So if I'm looking over at the form, it says pop-up no, modal no.
Right. Right. Now it's not a pop-up.
Right, but you don't have any. There's no full size and window button on the top. That's what I was looking for, on the top right of the tab there.
Okay. Now there's another way to do this that I just learned. And so I'll show you how to do that. Let's leave this. Now this is not a pop-up. Okay. So we're going to save this and close it. And let me go here to options.
Do it.
Current
Get
data.
rid of the tab. Get rid of the tabbed interface.
Yep. Overlapping windows.
Right.
I didn't know that. The access defaults to tab. And
right.
I didn't know anything about that.
Well, that's why I was looking for the maximize and restore button.
Okay. So let's go. Yeah. Go back here. Let's go here. And now it's not a pop-up, but it's automatically like that. Do you see a maximize and restore?
No, but change the properties on that.
All right, what am I going to do here? I format maybe? Fit the screen? That's already yes. I don't see it.
Auto resize is possible and fit to screen is possible. So you can click the,
Yeah, but those are both yes. Well, I can change the size.
when it's in use, we're not talking about,
Oh, well, I can do that too.
yeah, I mean, changing the size here is just
Yeah, you have
assuming.
something turned off. You have something turned off there because you see you have the buttons available in the top right when you're in design mode. The top right, you have your minimize, maximize, and close button. That's available with a title bar. I'm looking at showing a title bar. Or,
You mean these?
yeah.
These?
Yeah, but that's
Oh,
for the
well,
design.
Yeah, well, that's because I have that shut off. The control box is off.
Okay, turn your
Let's
control
put that
box
on.
on. Okay, now change your view.
Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I gotta go further than that. Oh, those buttons,
Min max button, no.
both enabled. Did I get them?
Okay.
Min max button is no.
No, it's
both
both
enabled.
enabled. Okay.
Right. Now change it.
Oh. I think, okay, let's
At any rate, yeah.
let's
So there's a whole lot of,
I have to wait a minute. I have to go back here. I think if let's try this. What do you think? That might do it. Okay. But there's no min-max button. Well, there are.
No, that's on the tab.
It's still not there.
Now you're using the tabbed interface. You're not using the.
Yeah. Well, look, it's okay. I think it's just interesting that with overlapping windows, it saves. A lot of times I had trouble with, I was creating something in design view, and then when I opened in the form view, it was up in the corner of the screen rather than being a pop-up. And so that's why I went to doing pop-up. And that works. And I can put it anywhere and save it, and it stays there. I close it, open it, and it stays there. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that I discovered that after more than 20 years of making databases, I never knew this.
oh, maybe they just put it in a little while ago.
Actually, I think it wasn't there before 2007. So since my first experience was Access 97, it wasn't there. So I'll use that.
They didn't have the tabbed interface. 97.
Oh, it was that way? Okay. Well, I guess it was there.
I think years ago. I don't think they had the tabs available.
Yeah. And
you could have 52 different windows all over the place.
Yeah.
With the tabbed interface, it gave it some kind of order.
Yeah, you got a bunch of tabs across the top.
Yeah, you can have 30 tabs open, but you see that you have 30 tabs open.
Right.
It's not like one stepping on the other one. You might not be able to read what the tab says, but with the old Windows, you could have windows covering windows, which were covering windows behind windows. You could have 50 windows open and not even know.
Yeah. Now, usually, in all the databases I've done before, I usually close a window and open the next window. And there's a few cases where I made sure the new window covered the old one, so it was invisible behind it. If I wanted to reuse that in a search or something, I could just close the new window, and I'm in the one that was behind it, so I can select something new and open the window on top of it again. But that doesn't happen often. But most of the time, I only have one window open at once. And let me save it over here. And then here, I'll open up the new window on top of it. Now this is modal. Why did it do that? It went to full screen.
Double click in the title bar.
Yeah, brought it to full screen. Yeah, that is what happened. I was going to point out that this one's grayed out and this one is the active window. You can tell. Okay. All right, I guess we're going to leave this here and let's go to the new version. The new version is in here. And the new version has the database and all of the pictures.
What are the properties on that folder, John? Go back up one level. What are the folder? Just click.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Oh yeah.
Just right mouse and properties.
Oh, you don't even have to do that. It just showed it when you hovered over it.
But it didn't tell you how many files there were.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
Oh, it did? So it's 9. So
yeah, it's
okay.
9. This is where all the data isn't in the database anymore.
Well, but the database didn't add any. It didn't add any overhead to it.
That's right.
Really.
This is just the database file.
Right, it's the combined size. It's not like by putting the pictures in the database where it doubled in size.
Oh, it got a lot bigger.
Where you had an 18 meg database.
Let me see. Okay.
You have 9.5 meg database.
9.5 megs. Right, 9.5 megs. With the pictures.
With the pictures embedded.
Right.
And it's
and then this is
900 plus the 8.8.
Right.
So there's it's the same size. The only difference is,
and that makes sense.
Well, it makes sense. At some point, maybe not at this level, at a 10 meg size, it doesn't impact your performance. But if you got into the 50, 100 meg size, you could end up with a considerable performance impact.
Yeah. Oh, there's another thing I noticed, and I don't know whether it's, I'm not quite sure how to account for it. But if I do this, and let's see, it's in here. I think it did here. Okay. I usually don't put the record selectors, the navigation in here. But I know now, of course, this is a new one. So let's see. Yeah.
Go back one.
Yeah. You see how it flickers? Yeah. I'm not quite sure what that is, but it's getting the picture is in the database here. And so
I'm wondering if there's a property on that object in your database, on that frame, that picture frame. Go into the design view on that form.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. That's okay.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. And wait, I gotta close this. But this,
And where's the there? Okay, the picture. What are the
what, data? Enabled, locked.
for events?
I can't, it's not an event. It's just when it switches from one picture to the other. On
Yeah.
what?
I'm thinking of on chain. It's comparable to a. It's like turning off macro. I'm thinking about it like with Excel, where you can kind of postpone the display while a macro's running and just display it after the results show up.
Well, yeah, but it isn't a macro here.
No, I know. What does that on change say? What are your
Oh,
selections?
well, that's if
there?
you wanted to put some VBA in here. Okay. You know, if I want to, yeah, picture change. But I don't know what we would put there.
Yeah, there's something in Excel.
Yeah. But look,
I'm sure
let's
VBA.
yeah, let's I don't know why it started acting up on me. No. Okay, let's go. Let's go
You
out.
have an open window at the bottom there.
All right, let's get out of there. Okay, let's go here. And now all the pictures are in here. And now they're not in the database anymore. So let me think here. What do I want to do? Okay, let's go here. I added this button, so I can choose the picture I want to see. Now, it does flicker a little, but not like the other one. And now these pictures are coming directly from the pictures folder. And let me show you how that worked, because I thought that was rather interesting. I think it's kind of beginning. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wait a minute. Let me. Wrong button on the mouse. Okay. Well, I guess we'll do it this way. Right. I don't think I can make this bigger. Okay. So now it's going to the current project path. In other words, it's where the database is stored. And then it's going to the Elite Features, which is the folder with all the pictures. And then it's picking the feature name, which is here, which is the drop down, it's unbound. And then it adds the JPEG to it. And that's how it's getting the pictures into the picture frame. So this is just an image. This box, it's an image. Let's see, is it here? No, wait, I guess I gotta cancel it. Yeah, it's an image. It's not an attachment. It's an image in this space. And that this is what picks the right image from the right place the current project path, and then this subfolder, and then the name of the feature.
So what's the difference between using an attachment and an image?
The attachments in the database, you know, you no longer need the folder with the pictures because it's in the database, but it takes up a lot of space.
So so the other database has them as attachments?
That's right.
Ah,
It has it as attachment. This isn't attached. Now, there's another benefit to this. Well, I don't know if you'd say it that, but the other thing is, let me just, no. Oh, yeah. The other thing is, yeah. Okay. This, if I go back one, the path to the database ends at this folder. I mean, it starts at, I think it starts as the E drive, and then it goes to my documents, and then access, and then I guess it's new DB. Or maybe it isn't that. I put it on the desktop. It starts on the desktop in this case, because that's where the path starts. Here. It's right here. Right? The path is desktop, and then new DB, and then inside that is the database. So the path is desktop, new DB, and then the next stop would be elite features, which is part of the text of the you know oh, we added that to the path, and then it's the name of the feature. So let's go back to here. Does this make any sense at all?
yeah.
Let's
Yeah, the nice thing about this is that if you need to change the picture, you just have to change the picture on the folder on your disk where the picture is without having to go into the database to change the picture.
That's correct. It's and in addition, if you move the database to somewhere else, you move the whole folder that includes the pictures, so that the picture subfolder is in the same place as the database on the hard drive. Or you put it up on a server, and the servers go with it. I mean, the pictures go with it up to the server. So, you know, it doesn't foul things up if you move things around. You put everything in the same folder, which is,
Hey, John,
yeah,
John B.
which
It
is
looks
right
like it looks like the solution to your flickering is in the VBA code, application.echo. How it's implemented, I'm not exactly sure. I don't do code, but it's
Yeah.
application.echo.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to worry about this. This works better. I like this. I like the concept that this contains the subfolder with the pictures along with the database. And the database path in this case is desktop new DB. Because it's in new DB. And it's already open here. And then all we did for this is that work for me. I had that happen before. Let me X out and come back. Um,
Yeah, the word picture is now missing.
it's not a picture. It's an image. It said picture before because it was a field in the table, and the name of the field was picture. Now it
But
doesn't.
this is the same thing we were looking at before, right?
Well, this is the new database that is set up this way with images instead of pictures in the database file.
And that's what you were just showing us,
Yeah,
right? The
before.
same new
And
database.
it doesn't.
And the word picture was there.
Yeah. No, this
In the top left corner of the orange box was the word picture. And now it's not there.
Click off your picture object on that form, John.
No, it was orange before too, Andy.
Yeah,
I mean, were we looking at the other database before?
yeah, why isn't this working?
Because how did you connect the search path to the picture in this?
That's what I'm trying to show you again, and I can't get the zoom to work.
Well, you can maximize that screen.
Here? Let me make it bigger. I don't think that helps. Oops. I screwed that up. And I know you probably can't read that, but it says the control
I'm
source.
changing my zoom ratio and going over there.
John,
Selection.
try Control Plus a couple of times.
No, it doesn't work.
Okay.
But I can zoom in on that and I can see it.
Well,
But
why don't you do a Control A in that control field, copy it, and then paste it into a notepad?
I can't even. It's just frozen. I'm going to shut this down. Let's do no. Okay, let's try this again. Let's go to here. Now let's go to design view. Yeah. By the way, this is what do you call it? If we're in the tabbed version, tab documents versus overlapping, this would the object that was in design view would be behind the other two. When you're in overlapping windows, it stays in front. Let's try this again now. There we go. Okay, let's make it bigger. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Want this to zoom. Okay. Yeah, so this image is in the path, current project path, which is the database. Current project dot path is where the database is. In this case, it's on the desktop and in the new DB folder. And then we concatenate the subfolder, which is where the pictures are stored. And then the feature name, which is what the picture is named, which makes real sense. And then .jpeg. And that's how it finds the pictures. So for any this is star name. For any of the biological names or geological, it looks at the name, the feature name, sticks it here, and finds it. And that's how it works. And I thought that was rather cool. Let's make this smaller. Okay. So if we go again to form view, there we go. So whatever this name is, it looks up the picture with the same name in the picture folder. All the way. This no, wasn't. Yeah, these are cool. Let's do this one. So anyway, that's how it gets the picture in here. And of course, you don't see the yellow of the box that really was. It's limited in width and height, so it fits the picture to whichever limits it. If that makes sense. I guess.
Oh, so you did not have to go in and format every picture to the same size.
No.
The database does that when it displays it.
When it displays it in the size of the box you got. So if I were able to, which I can, make this a little bigger, and just that. And then go to form view, go back to, well, let's see. So now it's taller. And it's probably a little wider too, because it could get wider. Okay. So anyway, that's how the pictures now work, which I really like. Now I just want to.
Oh, John, can you put a thumbnail there?
Yes.
Using the same concept?
Yes, I did. Actually,
Oh.
let's go to another star system. Because this one I haven't. Let's see. No, I don't know. Let's choose this. It only has one. Yeah, that only has one. It's probably a bacteria. Oh, let's try that one. Yeah. All right. Oh, I know what I want to do. Now let's see. Can I select these? Yeah, see, I don't have any pictures on these. I forgot I had this. There's 54 stars in this database. So, let's start this one. Okay. Yeah, there's thumbnails. These are images again, and they have the same current project.path, and then the subfolder, and then the name of the bacteria or whatever. And
Is
that's
that
how
a
to find
separate
these
field?
pictures.
Is that a separate object on your form, or is that part of that picture?
It's an image. It's an image object. It's this little box here,
Oh, okay.
which is an image, feature image. And then, that's a button. So, and like I say, the reason I did that was because if there's no thumbnail, then I know I don't have that picture in the data yet. Let me just go back to,
No picture, no thumbnail.
yeah, let's go to the last one. Yeah, there's no picture. So there's nothing there.
That's all.
So I just did that as a prompt to, I got to add the pictures to the fixtures folder. And then they'll show up, which isn't that hard to do. So, yeah. So there's a couple other things that are totally unrelated with what this database is about that I wanted to show you. What if when I well, yeah, this form, there's this form and a subform. I can't put new data in here because it's the not in list. It is, well, I'll show you. It's got an I'm not in list. So I'm not allowed to put anything in there. I can't type in there. Let's put it that way. Because if I try to type in there, I'm going to get an error message when I leave that field. So anyway, so the form really only displays data, displays the date, displays this drop down, this combo box, and it displays the subform where I can put data in here or here or here or here. So those
John,
yes,
when you are playing the game, do you update the database?
I do, except for the pictures. Yes. Yes.
So you take the picture when you find something, you take a picture, you find it, and you get the score in your online game.
Yeah, okay, here's what I do. I have the database running in the background. I load it first. So it's just like this.
Yeah.
And it always goes to when it opens, it goes to the last found star system. And the reason for that is obvious because that's the one we're working on. And so, that's the one I would be looking for new features, which I found here, 4 of them. I got to find the 5th.
But you're concentrating on flying your ship around and landing and doing all that. You're not paying attention to this, right?
No, it's not even on the screen. It's in the background.
Okay, so then you're playing a game and you find something.
Right.
When do you interact with this?
Well,
and how many screens do you have to go through to do the update?
Okay, when I'm at a system like this one that I'm not complete, there's one more thing to find. Okay, let's put it this way. When I'm playing the game, I can switch with the Windows key. I can switch out of the game. Just press the Windows key. And then down below, I will see there's a couple icons down here for the game. And I'll see the database. And I'll click on that and it'll pop up. And then what I've done when I sample the new biological, it comes up with the name. I'll take a picture with the phone because, they're a little hard to spell here. They're hard to remember. So I'll take a picture with the phone. And then if it's one I have found before, it's in here. So I'll go through and, I have to scroll it, that you can start typing to find it or to limit, get to the first one that's whatever, first cactoidea, you know, I can type a C. C. But anyway, so if it's one I've already got, then I'll just use the combo box to select it, and it'll automatically know it's a biological because it's already in the data. And I may change this to not be a drop down anymore. I'm thinking about that. But anyway, that's not here to there. So then, I can add the name. If I don't have it in the data, then I click this button and it brings this up, and I can use with the picture I took on the phone to type in the new name. And in fact, well, if it's one of, let's say it's similar to this, but it's a different color, I'll just copy this, paste it in there, and then erase the old color and type the new one in. So I don't have to type everything in. And
in Windows Power Toys, there's a screen OCR tool where anything on your screen, you can select the text and it will OCR it and put it on the clipboard. So you wouldn't have to take a picture with your phone. It's a power toy, and it's free.
It's simple enough. It's simple
and
enough.
you would just be able to look in the game and select the text that you see in the game, and it would OCR what's in from your screen and put it on your clipboard, and then you can paste it directly into here, skipping the step of taking a picture on your phone.
Yeah, I suppose you could do that, but you got to remember this text is appearing in front of the object you're scanning with your genetic scanner.
Sure, but the OCR tool doesn't care about the background.
It doesn't.
No, I mean, try it out.
Yeah, what's it
The
called?
tool is free. The Power Toys tool is free, and I think it's in the Windows Store. And if I go there now, I mean, I've been using it, and sometimes the OCR is not perfect depending on the quality of the text. Like I've been using it to copy stuff from newspapers.com, where the scanned picture of the newspaper page is fuzzy sometimes to begin with. So I have to go back and edit it. But at least I've got it.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm just thinking about your database and how it relates to the play of the game.
Yeah. Well, it's very quick. I take a picture, and I actually don't have to do it right away because I got a picture now with the name.
But you can do a screenshot just as well, and then it's in your computer.
Well, I can do that, and in fact, I do that. And here, let me take you here. All right, this is all my screenshots, and Control N, and let's see. All right, here's one.
Yeah,
that wasn't a good example. This is the name up here, but it usually appears here. But I've already taken the sample, and you have to take 3 of them at different locations that are far enough apart. They have to be, they made the game, so it's a bit of a challenge. It's not too bad. Finding this stuff is bad. But anyway. Okay.
I just took a screenshot of an OCR of the text, and if I put it in the message right now, I just put that in the chat, and that's what I got. I missed part of it, and the U from insufficient is not there.
Yeah.
But if you do this
Well,
while you're looking at it,
how does it choose where the text is?
well, do you have Power Toys installed?
No.
Okay. Windows key Shift T brings up a selection box, where you expand the little window and pick out what you want,
Yeah.
where the text is that
You know what,
OCRs are.
John? This when I'm playing the game and and I take the picture with the phone, that is only there for like 3 seconds. By the time I load the power time, here's another one. Now that now,
I didn't have to load the Power Toy. I just went Windows Shift T and it pops up because it's running on the background all the time.
but how does it know where the text is? Do you have to put a box around the text?
Yeah, you put a box around the text. Like I'm going to do that right now on your screen. I just did it again, putting it in a message.
Wait, I gotta go out of this.
There you go.
Okay.
I just did that while we were talking from your screen. From my screen was on your screen. Whatever's on my screen, I can do that to.
Okay. And all right.
Oh, and by the way,
It's gotta work fast.
you stored these things as bitmaps. That is the largest size image you can get. A PNG, you can save a
Wait a
screenshot as a
minute.
PNG, and that's
Oh,
much smaller.
no. Okay, wait a minute.
And by the way, you said that these things were JPEGs.
Yeah, well, this is all right. In the game, you can take pictures. It's at F10. You press F10, you snap a picture of whatever you're looking at. And whatever's on the screen is captured by the game. I don't have any control over this. But when let's see, let me think. Just put this down. Yeah. These are JPEGs. These are my cropped and color adjusted pictures that show up. You know, they are that size. It's the size I picked. I think it's 640 by whatever, 480 by 640, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And of course, this is how it's stored, but how it appears in the database is whatever fits in the box. So maybe I got a good idea, John, but I'm gonna have to be fast to do it because those words don't appear for very long. You know, I have to have the camera ready to take the picture.
Well, like you said, you can take a screenshot and then copy it out of the screenshot. I've just found that this tool was very, very handy because it's not like, I have one that I showed in the one of the general meetings that's built into the browser. It's a browser extension, but this is just reading whatever is on your screen. Doesn't care what program it is or anything.
And you can paste it as
text? Yeah.
Okay, well that's pretty good. I'll look that up.
It doesn't get the text correct every time. I've just shown you two of the examples in the chat.
Yeah.
That were taken from what you were showing, what I could see on my screen. Windows key, Shift T, bingo. Select the text, and I've got it on the clipboard.
Right.
You know what turns you into a convert on that application, John S?
What?
The error messages. When you get an error, you're doing something.
Oh yeah.
And you get an error message that pops up, and you want to do a search for it, but you want the exact wording. Well, you can sit there and try. You find out that you can't select it, you can't click and drag. Control A is going to give you a picture, but that doesn't help you look and research it. But the Power Toy, you can copy the text, and even though if it's not 100%, it's easier to go in there and edit 2 or 3 words rather than trying to manually copy 2 or 3 lines exactly.
Right. And even if it misses a word or two, if you paste it in the search box in your browser, it doesn't care that you missed a word or two.
Or it fixes it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's when I became a convert to that kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, anyway, let's see. Yeah, we are showing you that. All right. Yeah. I'm not going to be anywhere near finished with what I want to talk about here tonight. Because, well, we have much more. What I want to show you is the way I did that. What if you spell this wrong? And I know we can go and copy it off the picture and all that stuff. But what if it gets spelled wrong somehow? And I want to fix it. Now, I can't fix it here because I have the not in list on, right? It won't accept anything that isn't in the list. And it has some VBA behind that. So if I make this, let's say I make this an 8. Remember, I screwed that up. And I hit Tab or Enter. All right, I have this little message pop up. It says, cannot edit star system names here. Now, that's not very sophisticated. I probably think it's something better, but it's good enough for me. And then if I click OK, it runs some VBA, and it opens this. And this is the same form as the one when you add a new one. Only I changed what it says here. And here it is. And it, by the way, it undid my change, as you can see. So if I wanted to make it 8 and keep it that way, just do it here, and now it's 8. But I couldn't do it here. So I'm going to put it back to 9. And it's going to say it's no good. And over here, and now I can put it back to 9. So that's how I handled the oops on the typing. Just by using this for new things, type in, or, well, not or, I can type a new name, or I can use the OCR. We're going to try that because I can capture those names. They don't go away in a few seconds. That'll be easier. So anyway, that's how I did that. And would you like to see what the code says? I'd like you to.
Yeah, that's a cool human interface.
Let's see. Okay. That's the not in list. Okay. And say it's this combo box on not in list. Now you can put new data in. We're not going to use that. But we're going to do the response as integer, and you'll see where that comes about. So the message says cannot edit start system names here. And then I have a module that's has a little thing that says display message. Guess I can show you that too. Yeah, let me show you that. This can be used anywhere. I've got string message as a public as a string, so I can use that anywhere. I got this one too, but we'll talk about that later. And then I have this public sub named display message with string message as a string. And all it does is it doesn't the message box. So I don't have to type message box in all the time. And it displays whatever I put into the variable string message. As I have another one that I haven't used in this database, but I usually put these in all the databases. I find it easier, especially if you got a lot of message boxes. Because all you have to do is type in the message, the text, as we had here. Okay. And so it displays that.
Do
And
you have to create a variable string message, or can you just put the text after display message?
well, I could, yes, absolutely. Maybe not. No, because that's not how this works. It's going to expect something in a variable named string message. So it wouldn't work.
So it's a subroutine that says it has an argument.
That's right. Yep. And so,
But it's invoked without parentheses.
well,
I can see that you created a variable named string message, and that in the public subroutine, it says use the variable string message.
right. That's right.
But if you invoked it like a subroutine with parentheses for arguments,
well, it's right here. It's in parentheses. Yeah, it's in parentheses here.
so I'm asking a VBA question.
So actually, what John said, John Stanfield, right, is you could just pass it in quotes, a string. You don't need to create a variable to pass it in. Because what's coming in, the display message subroutine is a string variable. So you don't need to pass a variable name in. You can just pass a string. You know, quote, what blah 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 quote. And that should work also.
Okay, well, that sounds like it might work.
And speaking of that, maybe I can spend a time at some future VBA workshop where I have a routine called message. What was it? Message form, right? Called message form, because with Microsoft message box, you can't copy what's inside the message box. Okay.
Right.
All right.
As Andy said before.
Yeah. Let's try this. Let's just try.
You cannot copy anything that's in a message box. And the message box only limits up to 1,024 characters. If you have a message that's more than 1,024 characters, it will truncate it.
Okay. Yeah.
So I have a routine called message form where you can change the font, change the color of your
Oh, that's interesting.
of your message. And you can change the font size to make it bigger so that people can read it.
Yeah, you see that?
Because I may want to show that to you.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Henry, you demoed that a couple of years ago, didn't you?
Right,
Yeah.
I demoed that a couple of years ago in my Word workshop.
Right.
Yeah, but
Okay.
that can be used in any Microsoft Office application.
Okay.
And you can share that with John Berrian, and he can use that forever in the future if he wants to.
Right.
Yeah.
Does he have to give attribution? Should it have created by Henry Holm in it?
No, there's a tip cup out there.
Yeah. So So you're right. Now it says cannot edit. So that's cute. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd like to see what you did, Henry.
Yeah,
So
that was a very, very good tool that you created, Henry.
yeah, yeah.
You could post that in the put the text in the chat or share it in the Access VBA group, and we would love it.
Yeah, yeah. But it's a big procedure though. Because you pass it because there's several parameters, right? You know, that you pass in. Like well, what size font you want? You want it bold, you want it italics, okay? What color do you want the characters to be? You know,
yeah, that
and also the font name too.
yeah,
Okay.
that sounds very handy.
So you can design however message box pop up that you have. And it's
Okay.
unlimited size.
Was that part of your church database work?
Yeah, that was part of my church, my voucher that I
Right.
used.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, I thought so.
yeah, yeah. But I use that in Excel.
Right.
Okay. That's great. Thank you, Henry.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
Okay. So yeah. So anyway, so what happens here after you show the message, uh I this which this would show the access built-in error message. And let me see. I think I gotta do that. Let me see what happens now. Let me see what happens now.
okay.
Okay, yeah. This is what it shows. Text you entered is an item in the list. Select one item in the list or enter text that matches one of the listed items. Well, this is one of the clearer uh, access messages that I've seen. Some of them are totally obscure, at least in my opinion. So, but I like to make my own. And once again, it continued. So let's go. Let me just let's go back here again. Let's go back here. I was coming out this one. Okay. So what this does is it ignores the error. It undid the change here, right? So when I change the 9 to an 8, it puts it back to where it was. And then what this does, it says change this other variable, add edit string to edit. It goes to the form, new star force, and finds the right star system using the system ID and opens that form. Okay, so let's change it. Let's change it again to an 8. So it's going to undo the 8 put it back to where it was. It's going to show it here. And now it says edit star system name instead of add new star system, which is what it usually says. And so if I wanted to change it here, we already went through that. So anyway, that's the way it works.
At what point does it update it in the database when you edit it? Like you just click,
Well, you can't,
you could change it and then you click close. What causes it to be saved?
closing it.
So if you,
Let's put it this way. Let's make it an 8 again. All right, doesn't like it, comes here. It's already put it back as a 9. But if I want it to be an 8, because I spelled it wrong, if I do that, as soon as I close it, it's an 8. Saves it in the table.
okay, the close is what triggers that. So you got to make sure that you
Yeah,
do make
well,
the edit and just,
the reason is let's put it back to 9. And here, here. Okay.
now let's say you look at that and you say, oh, I don't want to edit it. I made a mistake. You click close. Does it add something new or does it just leave it?
well, now
If
we're
you
gonna
don't
put it back
change
to, huh? If I
when,
don't
when
edit
the
it,
edit box comes up, does it show the text as edited?
well, first of all, it started as an 8. I just changed it to a 9.
Yeah.
When I changed it to a 9, the little pencil appeared over here, which means it's the form is dirty.
Uh-huh.
It's unsaved data. Well, as soon as I close the form, it saves the data.
So let's say that, so when the edit form first comes up, it shows it with the original value, the unedited value, the unchanged value. Is that right?
Yes.
Just came up with a 9.
Yeah. Well, it was, all right, let's leave it there. All right, it's 8. We want it to be
It's
9.
an 8. Okay.
We want it to be 9. Hit tab. Can't do it. Now it
Okay.
changed back to
If
8.
now you say, oh, I didn't want to edit it, and you just click close,
It stays that way.
stays 8.
See what happened was the undo here. Remember there was an undo?
Oh yeah.
All right. Right. Now now it's going to undo that. Now it's 8. Okay. In other words, this is with the 8 is the way it's saved in the table. It undid the change and it displays the
Original in
undid change, the
the
original
undid
value.
one.
So I want it, I want it to be a 9 because that's the correct thing. And see now I'm entering it into the table here. I'm changing
Yeah,
the
and
record in the
the
table,
pencil showed
but
up.
it doesn't change until I close the form, which saves the record. So when I close the form, the table is going to get updated with the correct value.
With the new value.
With the new value. Right, the new value. Yeah. And there it is. So that's how it works. Now there's another interesting thing here that I ran into. You see, I have this is, you can go to the first record. Well, it's already in the first. You can go to the last record, but you can't go to the new record. And the reason is if you go to the new record here, you can't have a new record. You can't type anything in there because you're going to have the same problem. So I had to change that. Now, the way you change that is here. Allow additions is no. If I make that a yes, which I can do, then I can go to a new record. But I can't create a record here because it's a drop-down list. So if I type something here, let's just do that. Now I can't do it, which is good. And now I get an error because there's no system ID for a blank. So I had to escape. Let's see. Let's see if I do this. Okay. So I had to make allow additions no. You know, there's a lot of little nuances when you make forms or anything in here that cause problems, and that was one of them. So let me just save this. Now form view. Now there's no blank record, and I can't get to the new record.
You don't use Excel that much, do you, John?
I don't.
So Andy or somebody else on here, maybe Henry, or I don't know who, are these, like, you can create forms in Excel and use VBA as well? Or is all the same, like this is the Access VBA workshop? Are all of these same operations true if you're doing the VBA in a form in Excel?
Yeah, because based on my Excel spreadsheet, you know, I have forms. I pop up forms, okay?
Yeah.
And basically the forms basically behave the same way. You know, well, whether you have a form pop up in Word or a form pop up in Excel.
And the properties table has much the same properties in Excel?
So in a form, right? You know, like you have a combo box, you have a list box, okay? You have a command button, you have a text box, you have labels.
It's Microsoft's product. It goes across all their applications. It's not specific to one application.
Right, that's VBA.
Right.
It's VBA, yeah.
Right. But, you know, the difference that you'll notice is that if a function isn't available in that particular application, it's not going to be part of the VBA for that application. You're not going to have all kinds of things for calculations if you're doing PowerPoint, for example.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. And you know, let's see. Yeah, I'll just mention this. You see, this button brings up this. And but this button does nothing. And you know, this is a continuous form. As it says, this is continuous forms here. And you see, this does nothing, but this does something. Okay. And that's very simple. All you have to do is here. Let's see. Make sure this is right. Yeah, if is null, the feature ID, which is right here, then exit sub. In other words, if there's nothing there, then there's nothing to show. And that's the way it works in both of them. Very, very simple.
How long did it take you to build this thing?
Well, I started working on it in January, but you know, it didn't take that long to build, to mostly make it. But I kept adding things. Like I didn't have the pictures. I didn't have this discovery bonus. I didn't have this here. Yeah. I mean, as time went on, you know, I added the totals here. You know, it's back to the form view. You know,
Hey, John,
yeah.
database question, not with coding, not with the logic or anything like that, but more a maintenance standpoint. I played around with a lot of databases while I was working. and a lot of it was, kind of keeping track of what you did. The idea was, what happens if somebody else has to come up and work on this? It's dramatically different when you're doing a database, basically, for a party of one, you.
Yes.
And you
I
put
don't
everything
doc-
together.
I don't
I'm just
document things.
Okay, well, I was just curious if you, like, I know some people have, like, just a separate table in a database of what they did and, just a, completed or in progress or whatever when they did something. So you get an idea about something, you're not going to implement it right away. It goes in the table.
Right.
And you can see over a period of time. I was just curious if you did anything like that.
Yeah. No, I don't do that. And even this little thing, I added this because if let's see. Yeah, if I just click on here, it brings this up. And I think, yeah, I can change this. Okay. And I can change this. I can add whatever the credits we can earn from this here. I can't change this because that's looking it up from where this was found. What star system, not planets, not moons, just what star system. Yeah. So, but anyway, but to go to different ones, I had to do this. All right. I didn't like that. And because then this doesn't correspond to what I clicked on. In fact, I don't even know why that's still there. But anyway, I added this, which is similar. It's actually, I just move things around over here, and you can't see, can you? Yes, you can. You can pick something else, which I would pick one that had no picture. As you see, there's a lot of bacteria. Come on. Yeah. Anyway, so I could scan through them without clicking the button down the bottom, because the other one doesn't have a drop-down list. So I made one with a drop-down list. See, this doesn't have a drop-down. Okay. So I added this button. So that isn't in the older version of this. I'm sure there's other things that aren't in that. I just kept that because it had the pictures stored differently. Anyhow, there's some other things I wanted to talk about, but it's 9 o'clock and
yeah, I'm getting ready to.
Yeah. So there's
say
a
my
few
thank yous.
there's a few other things. This was fun to make. Let me tell you, my brother-in-law is doing something similar in Excel, and I haven't seen his spreadsheet, so I don't know exactly what he's doing at all. But I don't think he's got the detail that I have in here. And of course, the other thing that I haven't done at all is there's no reports here. I could come up with a report that showed how many credits we earned from all the star systems we had, or all the, it could be a large number, since our base credit is 1 million for the cheapest thing. So anyway, I haven't done anything like that.
Well, thank you again, John B.
Lots else to do.
John S., George, Henry, Richard.
Right.
Have a good night, guys. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks a lot for your help.
Oh, no problem.
And
Have a good night.
Oh, that was fun. Thank you.
Yeah, right.
To get even more fun out of the games.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm always looking for something to do with access. And when my brother-in-law said he was keeping things in a spreadsheet, I thought, this is the perfect thing for access. And so I started playing around with it. I think my first, yeah, no, down here. Yeah. The first time I entered anything in here was January 18th. And this was the first data. They only found 2 of the 3. So, and there's no pictures because in the beginning I wasn't taking pictures. So there's still some things that we haven't run across again, which is kind of cool.
Definitely cool. Good idea for showing this to us. Thank you.
I think I'm having fun with it.
Yes, you are.
And here's another thing that I didn't even bother going there for one biological. I said the heck with it. And it's interesting because as the way Elite Dangerous works, you're jumping from one star to another to get to a destination. And as you go along, you might find a star system that has a number of biologicals that you want to go and see what's there. And so we'll just stop on the planet or moon there and start collecting. And so that's how it gets added to the database. Because you don't know what you're going to find. It's it's a big galaxy, and you don't know what's out there. And a lot of times you get to a star and there's nothing there. It's 1 star, or it's 3 stars, but nothing else. Or
Well,
there's
that's life.
planets and moons, but there's nothing on them. And so you keep going. It's kind of fun. And there's a lot more to do than just collecting biologicals. It's a first-person shooter. You can do trading, and they just started a new thing you can do. They started colonization. You can colonize another system, which I haven't really looked into, but apparently that's become very popular. So, a lot of things to do. It's a neat game. So, I added the quit button so it closes the database. So I'll stop sharing. And yeah, I had a fun time. And
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
You shared an awful lot more than just access, which is what makes these meetings very much fun.
Yeah,
really.
it's interesting. And maybe I can show I don't have any videos of gameplay, but there are videos on YouTube. And I can see if they show on Zoom. I don't know how well that works, but we could.
Well, we do that in a lot of the other workshops, but you could also post one in the access group, and we could look at it ourselves.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I could do that. Yeah, there's some good ones. So, well, George, good to see you.
Yeah, sorry I was late, but I'm glad I came in the middle.
Yeah.
So it was recorded, George and John. How will you
Yeah,
make that available?
I don't know what to do with the recordings.
Well, I would like to see the beginning of it because I think I was
Well,
missing quite a bit.
If you can share the video to me, I can post it on the BCUG YouTube site.
Okay.
And I seem to remember you said you don't need the audio, or do you need the audio? It's 2
I
files.
think that would be helpful.
The audio is in the video. That when you close the meet, when you end the meeting,
Yeah,
it pops up and it says converting.
That's right.
And then it's going to put it into your documents, Zoom, today's date folder, and the video is in there.
Yeah.
And if you put it on someplace and share it with me, I can pick it up.
Okay. I'll do that.
Right.
All righty. Well,
Well, that's going to keep me busy between now and next month.
Yeah, we'll do a little continue. I don't know if I can fill another meeting, but I've also been watching, there's this guy called Richard Rost, R-O-S-T.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of
He
him.
has hundreds of things, and some of them look kind of interesting. So maybe we can share some of those too.
You can carry this down.
Yeah, just a comment. If you're transferring very large files, wormhole seems to be an easy way to transfer extremely large files.
Yeah, I don't remember how big these get to be. They're not hugely big. But we'll see what we can do. So
Okay,
thanks, everybody.
Good. Thanks. See
And,
you next month.
See you next month. Yep.
or tomorrow, or next week. Hopefully next week. But tomorrow, Linux, you should have gotten the notice with the information.
Yeah,
Linux tomorrow.
I'll take a look at my email. Okay, I'm going to click end here. Have a good night, and have a good day, Richard.